And today we learn about English class 11. The book name is Rainbow Part 1. The chapter name is The Leader of Man by the Siddharth Chaudhary. In previous lecture 1 we completed lecture 1 to lecture 3, and in next lecture we started from lecture 4 to lecture 15, but in this lecture we started from phrase 16. So without wasting time, let's move to the phrase 16. These rules have been made by us, Mr. Kede, and Mr. Singh was only doing what he is told to do, and it's our own safety. Phrase 17. Sarma and Kedia glared at me, and then Kedia said, Ritwik, I am going to complain to your father. You don't even know how to talk to your elders. I smiled at him and kept quiet. He went away hurriedly into the elevator with his friend in tow. I took the stair. So let's move to the phrase 18. But after move to the phrase 18, we focus on some questions. Questions for how many guards were working in an apartment building? Question second. Where did they stay? Question 3. Did they live with their families? If not, then why? 4. What make their property stand out in glaring contrasts? Question 5. Who is he in the first paragraph? Was he like other guards? Question 6. Who was Kedia? Where did he live? Question 7. Describe Kedia appearance. How did Kedia first look? Question 8. Why was Kedia shouting at Roop Singh? Question 9. Did Roop Singh do any wrong? Question 10. When Roop Singh replied in English, what was Kedia's reaction? Why did he react so? Question 11. Why did the writer support to why? Question 12. What was Kedia so sure about? So let's move to the phrase 18. Later on, I learned from Muna, my servant, that his name was Roop and that he was a Rajput. Muna also told me that the other guard did not like him. They don't like him much and thought him to be naughty and stuck up. He thought he was because Roop was of a forward caste. All the other beings backward, he generally kept to himself, and after his duties were over, read books in the guard room. All this seemed to Muna as supervised behavior, but even he grudgingly agreed that he was best ever security guard that had worked at our building. He was smart, efficient, and did his job quietly and competently. And for this he got the princely sum of 600 rupees a month and subsisted on boiled rich and potatoes like the other guard. All this for mere 600 rupees a month. My shirt cost much more than that. It was ridiculous. The sum minus but is worth true. Phrase 19. Kedia did complain to my father, but my father didn't say anything to me like I knew he wouldn't. But after Kedia with his wooden pride came down hard on Roop Singh, he criticized Roop for everything and anything. He called him inefficient and insolent, and once claimed that he had caused him sleeping at night while on duty. He was bent on getting him kicked out of the place, but the other residents opposed the move, and so Roop stayed. Phrase 20. Kedia just couldn't take the fact that a poor miserable little guard had answered back to him, and that too in English. He was sure it was just to show him up in front of his friend, and worse, was me. He was really sore about the English part. Phrase 21. In his blind vanity, he probably never even realized that he could have been wrong. He had always been rich and richer, always right. According to him, there could be no two ways about it. Roop on his part didn't do anything that was counter-reactionary except that he stopped saluting Kedia. Whenever someone else would be the Kedia, he would salute the other person but ignore Kedia and glide him into end. It was during those days that I came to know more about Roop from talking with him every evening for 10-15 minutes. After I returned home, he felt obligated to me and later thanked me for any invention that faithful. The other guard, by the time had started to come around, Roop would read to them from the newspaper and tell them what was happening around the world. Not that they were much interested, they had unofficially elected him to their leader, and I thought he was fighting for Ikem Trace. There was a once leader from Man warrior. His ancestor must have waged war against the British and Mughal and fought glorious battle amidst the golden sand dunes of Mewar. I think I am needlessly romanticizing him. Probably his ancestor were a poor was and were simply farmer toiling hard for his daily meal, but who knows. So here we end this lecture. In next lecture we started from phrase 23. So bye guys, see you in next lecture.